All right, what's going on, guys? So, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen a little bit of discourse this morning. Today is July 7th. So, I would like to go over a little bit and expand further on what I say by I do not recommend that you join the United States military industrial complex. So, let's go into that a little bit further. Now, when I'm saying this, right, a lot of veterans get very defensive. And it's kind of odd why you would get defensive, because I personally cannot fathom a reality where I would get defensive and offended by someone saying that I don't want you to join the company that I last worked at. I don't recommend that you work the job that I have worked. Now, if I tell you that I don't recommend that you work somewhere of which you're collecting a paycheck, of which you're getting benefits, of which is a job, it is not a service, it is not selfless, it is a job where you have the potential and the opportunity to go to countries on the other side of the world and kill people that you have never met, that would have never met you, that you would have never come in contact with. Now, in my personal opinion, militaries should be for defending borders. Now, what are our borders currently? Well, undefended, and they have been for years. All right, that is what a military should be for, is for defending the country. So, what is our military doing? Because they're not defending the country. And if you look around at how many illegals there are, you can tell that the military is not defending the country. Now, this even going a little bit further. When I say that I don't recommend or I don't support you joining a job, or you getting a specific job, when I'm saying that, I have friends and family that are still in the military. I served in the military. This doesn't mean that I just inherently hate every veteran and I hate every service member. In no way is that what is being conveyed. Now, when you're reading a screen, right, when you're reading text, specifically on Twitter, I can understand how you can take things the wrong way, or you would choose to take things the wrong way, especially if you have a very strong allegiance to that job. Because to a lot of people, it's more than a job, and I understand that. I understand that, and I'm using this against you, actually, that I understand that it's more than a job. And I understand how much personal connection so many men now have to this. And I also have a personal connection to this because I have lost friends, all right? I have lost brothers. So just because I didn't die, just because I didn't watch them die, all right, that doesn't mean that somehow this didn't happen to me all the same as it happened to you, all right? Now, I'm not trying to go into, and I'm not going to play the game, because it is a game, and it's a bullshit game at that, of trying to say whose service is better than whose. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. All right? Because no matter what, the goalpost is going to be moved. No matter what, someone is going to say that your service wasn't enough and you didn't do enough to have XYZ opinion. You know what? We all, every single American fucking citizen, legal American citizens, all right? And I'll go a little bit spicier than that if you want me to, but and because I firmly believe in, you policing your own, so white people policing white people just makes sense to me. If anything, that's who should be policing them. White people should be looking after white people. Veterans should be looking after veterans, or should have the most opinions on it, if that makes sense. I have the most opinions on men because I am one. That just makes sense. But, whatever. We'll go, and you know what? That argument could be used against me as well, and I understand. And that's why there's nuance, and that's why it's hard having a parasocial relationship. Once again, I acknowledge this. I understand it. If you have arguments, if you have gripes, if you have grievances, once again, understand. I have family and friends that are currently in the military. Right this fucking second, I have friends that are in the military. They're still my friends. I don't hate them. I don't want them to die. Quite literally the opposite. Literally the opposite. And I've told that to my friends that are still in. of, do you want me to have to carry your casket without you having children because you thought that for whatever reason going overseas, going into the Middle East again somehow was going to change anything? Like, we didn't just replace the Taliban with the Taliban after 20 years. But no, you want to put your own personal life on hiatus, on standby, all right? So you can go fight brown people in a sand country instead of starting your own fucking family here in America. What are you fucking doing? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? Now, for everyone that will say, oh, well, I already have children, or, oh, I had children before I went off to war. Or you could even go with the Patriot quote, one of my favorite quotes of, wars are not fought by childless men. I also agree with that. But this conflict, every conflict, I'm going to have to cut that out. What time stamp are we at? It's fine. I want to preserve life. People saying that I'm a hypocrite. If you want to say I'm a hypocrite, that's perfectly fine. That's cool. That's your opinion. We're allowed to have opinions. We're allowed to disagree. We can still be friends even if we disagree on these topics. I want to make that so unbelievably clear that we can still be friends. We don't have to be arch enemies because you believe that we should still be at war and I believe that we shouldn't. We don't also have to go to war with each other because we have differing opinions. All right? It's not that big of a deal. I mean, now, and that being said, it is a big deal, right? But it's not like friendship ending that big of a deal. It's not like this is the last topic that we'll ever have. It's not something that I think that you should have to block one another over, all right? We can disagree. There's so many bro vets right now, all right? And if you wind up getting a clip of this, if you wind up on this video and you disagree with me, I'm not trying to start a fucking war with you, my guy, all right? It's okay that we disagree. I was 19 to join the military, and I wanted nothing else but to deploy and to fight for America, all right? That is what the young, youthful me wanted to do. And while I was in, and after getting out, I asked a lot of questions. I have been asking so many questions, and there's a lot of questions that don't have the answers that you think they should. And there's a lot of questions that have quite literally the answer of, either gaslighting or lies. There's a lot of questions that I don't like the answers to, and this has caused me to be at the standpoint that I am. I have a social media presence, and I'm able to bitch about it, so I'm going to bitch about it. I do not think that America should be sending her sons, wherever you want to, whatever gender you want America to have, it doesn't matter. America shouldn't be sending our sons off to die anymore. We've sent enough. We have sent enough. We have lost enough blood. We have lost enough brothers, sons, family members, loved ones. We are still currently to suicide, losing enough men. Enough. No more brother wars. Enough is enough. All right. Now, that being said, I am in no position of power. I hold no power over anything. I hold power over a very, very small amount of overall arcing life, right? I have a company and I have a family. I have a friend group. You know, that's where my kind of influence realistically in the real life is, right? Maybe I can influence and help out a couple people on social media, but, you can ignore that, right? My own company, I'm in charge. I'm not in charge of a whole lot. I acknowledge that. I understand that. That is why this is social media and these are opinions. I realize that I'm like reiterating and reiterating and reiterating. I feel like this works with the autism, never stop talking about it. But these are my opinions. These are my beliefs. If you would like to follow me, if you would like to continue following me, I am very much anti-war. I am anti-countries waging wars against each other. I'm anti-sending our sons off to the other side of the world to fight for I don't even know what anymore. All right? I don't support it. I support us being here and having strong communities, having strong families. I support us buttoning down the hatches, paying off debt, closing down the borders, and actually giving a fuck about the Americans that lived here, kicking out everyone that's illegal, everyone. Once again, I'm not in charge, so my beliefs mean little to nothing in the grand scheme of things. Well, my beliefs mean a lot mattered a lot to me. I'll acknowledge that. My beliefs matter to me. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna get to work. I hope you guys have a good Monday, good start to your week. I hope this was more positive than it was negative. That's my intentions. There's a little bit of frustration here, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, I'm gonna get going with my day. Appreciate you guys, and yeah, I sell military surplus. If you want to call me a hypocrite, call me a hypocrite. But that's what I sell. Appreciate you guys, and ATS, go outside.